What's up, brother?
What took you so long?
I was kind of sitting there, I was watching it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put myself up there and jam out to it with it. It
Ah,
was kind of a last minute decision.
I see.
Hope I didn't bum you out.
Now it's all good.
What's happening? It's the Hangout Live here on the last Monday we're gonna do.
The last Monday, starting next week, we move to Tuesday, same time.
For Tuesday.
For Tuesday.
Tuesday, same time, same bat channel. You just gotta come in a day late.
And next
Dollar
week,
short.
Tuesday, we have Robert Sarza.
Robert Sarza coming on the show. And then the week after that, we've got our brother Brian Ray coming on. And super stoked about both of them, man. Super stoked.
Brian Ray, people might not recognize the name, but he plays with, drum roll please. You gonna answer or am I going to?
Sir Paul McCartney.
That's right.
Plays guitar with a rock royalty legend.
A Beatle.
A Beatle, one of the Beatles.
Hey.
It's been a rough ass week, dude. I am not even gonna pull back any punches.
Yeah, it's weird.
With everything going on, and COVID is out of control. It's rampaging the town that I live in. Bad, like really bad. In fact, I'm sure we're gonna be facing the whole locked up, won't let me out. You know what I'm saying?
So, well, to get off of that gloomy, doomy note, why don't we get on to a lighter note?
Great transition, Robbie.
Yeah, let's. I just want to get into a lighter note, a better place for all of us. And we'll talk about our guest tonight, Damon Johnson.
Dude, who we've got joining us tonight is a rock legend. This dude's resume is endless. So check some of this out, man.
Well, that's the new album he's got coming out this year. And then
that's the new album. Of course, we're talking about Damon Johnson. I don't think we waste any more time. I think we just
there's a lot to talk about. We got to squeeze it into an hour.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
All right, let me go ahead and bring him in here. Where you at? Where you at, my brother? That's not him. Where is he at? Oh, bro. There he is.
All right.
Hey. Let's try it.
What's happening, brother?
How are you guys doing, man?
Excellent.
Blessed as we can be, right?
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's pretty fancy looking. You got your Damon Johnson logo on the screen over there. That's very flattering. Thank you, man.
Absolutely, my brother. There's the album art right there.
Yeah.
From Battle Lessons. We've got some stuff from your website.
Man, that's so cool. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, my brother. Now, everybody out there watching, you've got to go over and check out damonjohnson.com. I'll show some links here through the show. We've shared the links several times in different ways on our website and on our social media. And I got to tell you, dude, your website is one of the most kick-ass websites I've seen in a long time.
Oh, man, thank you so much for saying that. Listen, I'll tell my boy Stefan, you said that we've been close pals, man, for about 20 years. And we kind of stumbled over each other. He had been a fan of Brother Kane from back in the 90s.
Right.
But he had started doing some design work, and he's really talented, man. I'll tell him you said that. That's awesome. Thank you.
Tell him to call me. I may need some help with hours.
He will call you.
All right.
He will take that call. Yeah, man.
Good. I'll share my number with you before this is all over. But yeah,
right on.
I actually just kind of took over my own website. We've been trying to play with it ourselves until we find somebody else. And I'm like, yeah, I'll stick to doing this and talking on Jack FM, but those websites kind of outside my control.
Brother, let me tell you, man, of course, this year, like no other, we all have more time. We've got time that we haven't had. And I think on one hand, you think, well, I'm going to make the best of it. I'm going to learn some new stuff or try some new things or grow my business, and I don't know, guys. I just want to go back to putting out records and playing concerts and getting on airplanes and buses and playing shows, man. I've said it many times. I will never take for granted a crappy, smelly, tiny backstage dressing room ever again. As long as I live, I'll never take it for granted.
So you've played at my venue, then, is what you're telling me. I don't know if that's our funk or the funk from the week before.
Well, I guess there is a rock and roll road funk, and we all know it, man. And I think the audience knows it too, man. And there's something about it that brings us all together. So
it's
all
pheromones.
Hail. Yeah, pheromones. There you go.
Rock and roll pheromones, brother.
There you go.
Yeah, I think we're all looking forward to it. Everybody's looking forward to seeing live shows, and then us guys who are players and tour and stuff are like, oh man, when I don't even remember what it's like. It feels like I'm like packing my suitcase. I lived out of my suitcase, and now it's like packed away.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Well, I got to tell you guys this, man. Just literally this past Saturday, I played a gig. It was like an acoustic house concert. But man, to your point, like I forgot how to pack. I thank God I made like a list, like a checklist, like, okay, extra batteries for my pedal, change my strings, get an extra cable, bring my own microphone. I don't want to be singing on anybody else's microphone these days.
Right.
But, this guy's been a big fan of my music for many, many years. And he had it set up in his backyard, and it was outdoors, and everybody was safe, and it was great, man. But, playing and singing was easy. It was packing my suitcase that was a challenge, because I'm definitely out of practice.
Yeah, there's something to that. I'm the same way. I'll make a list before we go out because I know I'll forget something otherwise. You just know it. You get there. Oh, I didn't bring shoes and flip flops. I mean, it could be anything. I've done it too many times.
Well, man, don't you think that's going to be a lot of the post-pandemic, I guess, historical writing, and as people reflect on the event, and obviously, man, the big picture is scary and challenging, and man, people's health, and people are dying from it, and it's there's so much about it, man, that's incredible. But for us in the music business, there's no doubt that we were the first ones to get shut down, and we're going to be the last ones to tee it back up again. Just by nature of what we do. So, I think a lot of the historical recounts of what this was like, man, again, none of us are going to take live music for granted in any way, man. We're going to be so grateful to have it back.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And myself as a promoter, I just literally, I kid you not, 2 hours ago was on a call with a venue that we were getting ready to lease to buy. And I had to pull the plug because, just the resurgence of all this. I'm like, if we're down for another 90 to 180 days, that's a huge loss of money that I can't endure. And it sucks because it would have been a great place to do shows. So I'm really just itching, and people are bugging me all the time. Bring a show, bring a show, bring a show. And it's like,
Well, yeah, it's like, that gets into such a broader conversation because, there's still a big question mark as to who is actually going to show up. There's the question mark of how do you do it safely? How do you gather people together? Drake, I don't have to ask you, bro. There's liability issues. There's all kinds of stuff, man. It's
insurances on venues right now, insurance on events, just even small events, is quadrupled 5, 6, 7 times. To where $1 million binder could have cost you $1,200 a while back, and now you're looking at a $10 million binder because if somebody potentially gets it and passes away from your event, you're in a world, So
yeah. Well, you know what, man? I'll tell you this. Today felt like a good day. Waking up this morning to what felt like some really positive news about the vaccine.
Yeah.
There's this other company, I forget the name, but that's even beyond Pfizer, and the percentages of productivity were better, and you can store it easily, more easily. I don't know, man. I'm just, my family and I, we're just so committed to staying optimistic and positive and staying healthy and just fighting through it, man, and trying to encourage everyone else in our lives, family and friends, to keep doing the same, man. So
it's great.
We'll get through it. We'll get through it. It'll end one day, and the whole world can get back to some level of normal.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
So with that, I'm going to segue into a more innocent time. Why don't we talk about Renegade? We gotta know.
Let's go back, bro. Let's take it back.
Or
wow. That's a time capsule for sure, right there, man. You know what? I wish I'd have known you guys were going to ask that, because I just went through a box of some photographs and I found like 7 or 8 kind of Polaroid pictures that our bass player's mother took of us when we were rehearsing down in their basement. And
oh man.
Yeah, man, we were 13 and 14 years old, and we're all playing guitars that like we borrowed from our uncle, or maybe my dad played a little bit, but he was playing country music, so it was like a Fender amp, and the bass player had some amp his mom bought at Sears and Roebuck. It could barely stay in tune, much less,
right.
But man, that, I'm sure you guys can relate. It's like the very first little band you put together, and you have fallen in love with rock and roll, and you're starting to learn to play a little bit, but then you get together in a room in somebody's garage or somebody's basement, and you plug in, and some dude sets up his drums, and all of a sudden you're doing it. It's happening.
Yeah.
It's the biggest drug. It was definitely the biggest drug for me, man. I will never forget what that felt like as long as I live. And I guess in a way I've been chasing that feeling ever since.
Yeah.
Lightning, brother.
It's interesting because at that point you don't really know what the business is about, and it's all just about pure fun. But then you also dream about someday I'll, but then as you go further and further, you kind of look back and go, man, that feeling, that time, it was so special that you want to hold on to that, because that is really what it was about.
Totally was, man. That's well said. And, in you kind of describing it the way you just did, it makes me recognize that, I was so fortunate because I had musicians around me that were just as passionate as I was. Now, that first garage band, Renegade, I moved to another town a couple years later. So as soon as I got there, man, in no time, I found a bass player, I found a drummer, I put another band together. So over the course of like the next 4 or 5 years, man, it was one band to another band to another band. And you got to believe me when I tell you, it never crossed my mind that I would ever be able to do it professionally. I came from such a small town. I'm talking a rural farming town out in the middle of nowhere, Alabama. And our only exposure to rock music was whatever was on the radio or whatever was in the magazine stand at the Tom Thumb gas station, 7-Eleven kind of place. That was it, man. No, we couldn't go see bands play live. Later we got, when somebody got their driver's license, we could drive to Birmingham or to Huntsville and go see, 38 Special, Ted Nugent, the Atlanta Rhythm Section, Mother's Finest. And then when Van Halen hit, man, that was a game changer. But still, man, I was just playing music because I loved it. I loved making music with my friends. And it really wasn't until I was already making a few bucks playing in the bars that an older musician that I really looked up to, he said to me, he goes, man, you're doing this already. Like you should move to Birmingham and take this serious. And, because there's a lot of places to play, there's other bands there. And, ultimately that's what I did. So I'm just grateful that I guess that was the path that I wound up taking.
Now, did any of these guys from the original from Renegade, did any of them go professional musicians, or they all went on to other things?
You know what, man? What a great question. You know what they did? They all played in. They never really got beyond the regional club scene. They did a little bit of traveling around the Southeast and played with some different people, but it's like once I moved away, well, really once I started, joining bigger bands that were playing regionally themselves, we kind of, we didn't really see each other that much. Ironically, I keep in touch with all those guys now to this day. And it's so much fun, to get together and have them ask questions like, hey, man, what was it like, writing a song with Sammy Hagar, or whatever. And it's fun for me, man, because, I love those guys and I always credit them for helping me get started. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, guys, there's not a lot of rock musicians that really came out of the state of Alabama ever. Tommy Shaw was from Montgomery. Of course, the guys in the Drive-By Truckers, which are an amazing band, from the Muscle Shoals, Florence area. I'm sure there's somebody I'm forgetting about, but, you think of Alabama music artists, you think about Emmylou Harris, the Commodores, Hank Williams, people like that. So there's only been a few of us rock guys, I guess.
Yeah. And then you went on to, was it Split the Dark?
Yeah, man. Split the Dark was indeed that genuinely proper band, a professional band. They had already been touring around the Southeast. They even had a song on the radio regionally. They had a deal with MCA Records for a little while. And, when my first wife and I were still dating, she was going to college, and like we would go to the fraternity parties after the football games, on the weekend, and Split the Dark was one of the bands that would play. And I just thought they were incredible because they were playing everything from, songs on pop radio to stuff like The Police and Steely Dan and Yes. And, and I was so steeped in rock and hard rock. So to kind of join their thing, it really broadened my musical vocabulary. And I was, when they asked me to join their band, man, I couldn't have been happier if David Bowie had called me. I would say, wow, these guys are the real thing. So yeah, Split the Dark was very important in my story.
Well, they won the Basement Tapes through MTV in '86, right?
Yeah, man. Well spotted. Yeah, as a matter of fact, they won the very first Basement Tapes that MTV ever had.
Are you sure that was the first one? Because you remember the band Rail? Rail won MTV Battle of the Bands. Maybe they changed the name of it, but they won something. They were supposedly the ones that won the first MTV Battle of the Bands. It was 1982.
Oh, okay.
Out of Seattle. So that's why I was wondering if the thing that you're doing is was it a different? Maybe they changed it or something.
Yeah, I guess it was different because they did have a Battle of the Bands for a while.
Okay, that's what it was.
I think the Battle of the Bands, some of those bands were even doing cover tunes and stuff. But the Basement Tapes, were original artists sending in not just original songs, but, videos with concepts and, this kind. Man, I bet you if the three of us saw that Split the Dark video right now, we'd be cracking up. I mean, I wasn't in that was before I joined the band.
Okay.
So there was no doubt, man, the fact that they had won the Basement Tapes, because I had watched that show on MTV in the little town, north of Birmingham where I was from. So, in our minds, man, they were Led Zeppelin. They were the Who. It's like, all right, these guys are doing it. Man, I got to tell you guys a great story about that.
Cool.
So the drummer in Renegade. So when I was living in the first town, Monroeville was the little town in South Alabama that we had that band together. Well, the drummer, Alan, he had an older sister. And guys, she was a knockout. And she was like 3 years older than us, 4 years older than us. And she hated us. She hated all of us. Like, we just got on her nerves. She hated that we liked Kiss and Rush and Kansas. And, you know, we were just pests. And she was so good looking, man, that I was like afraid of her. Like, she would come in the room and I would just like clam up. So check this out, man. I joined Split the Dark, and I'm playing with Split the Dark in Birmingham one night. And Alan comes in the club and brings his sister. Well, he didn't tell her that I was playing in Split the Dark. She had been a fan of Split the Dark for years, man, because she had seen him play her sorority in college and stuff like that. So if you could have seen the look on her face when she connected the dots that I was that snot-nosed little obnoxious kid that used to get on her nerves, and now I'm standing on stage with this band. And of course, at that point, man, I had the Eddie Van Halen body wave going, and I had the Floyd Rose, and just flipping my hair, just whatever, man. It was nuts. So that was like vindication.
Love it.
Yeah. How'd the night go, bro?
Oh, the night went great. The night went really great. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Right. Afterwards, walk by, kind of like, hey, hi.
Oh, didn't see you there.
Yeah. Incredible.
That's
Incredible,
awesome,
man.
brother.
That's
awesome.
Man, you guys are so cool to ask about those bands, because they were pivotal for me. Pivotal. And of course, none of us can see into the future.
Right.
If there'd have been any, none of us, myself included, would have believed that I would have been able to, tour with some of the bands and write songs with some of the people that I have. And I don't know, man, I still have a bit of a wanderlust about it, because there's still a component of it that just feels kind of unbelievable. Like, wow, how does that happen?
Absolutely. So we actually have Robbie's wife, aka our producer. She's got questions, and she's biting at the bit from the audience. You cool with that, Damon?
All right, our producer.
All right.
Lay it on me.
Let's bring her in. All right. What's up, Jess?
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hi, Jess.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay, I forgot I had my ear things on. Oops. Okay. And I have my little flashlight here so I could see. Okay, so our first question comes from Jennifer. She wants to know, how did the hard rock band Brother Kane come together?
Right on. Thank you, Jennifer. Well, Brother Kane was, all four of us were from kind of that music scene in Birmingham. I moved to Birmingham in 1987 to join Split the Dark. So I was with Split the Dark a couple years and played in a couple of other bands. And I just remember we were so motivated. We loved Appetite for Destruction. We loved the first Black Crowes record, the first two Black Crowes records. And I think because the Crowes were from just up the interstate in Atlanta, it really gave us this confidence, like, well, wow, man, those guys, they're not from New York or Los Angeles. And, if they can do it, we can do it. Mm-hmm. And so I was really fortunate. There was a different version of a band together that I was in and had co-written all the songs. And that band got some attention from some of the record companies, and we wound up signing a development deal with Virgin Records. And I was only the guitar player at that time, because that's all I really wanted to do. So the label worked with us, tried to help us find another singer, and it's another crazy story. The record label guy was in town, kind of checking our progress one night, and we were playing at a bar, and I sang 2 or 3 songs just to give the singer a break, because we were doing heavy stuff like Deep Purple and AC/DC, and it's hard to sing that stuff 3 or 4 sets, 4 nights a week. So when that A&R guy heard me sing, he pulled me off to the side. He said, "Hey man, I didn't know you could sing." And I'm like, "Well, I can't. I'm not going to, you know. So he really encouraged me, said, we need to go in the studio and try it. Let's see what it sounds like. So the bass player of that band stuck with me. And then we wound up getting, you know, a different drummer and a rhythm guitar player. And that's how Brother Kane started.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Thank you. We have another question from Brian. He's wondering, from all the artists that you have played with and the bands, can you pick one particular artist where you were like, wow, I'm actually playing with this person?
All of them.
Well, there's definitely one event that stands out head and shoulders above anything else. I don't see how it would be possible that I could do anything much cooler than this, guys. So my friend Marty Fredrickson, who's a super talented, successful producer and songwriter. Well, Marty and I met at the start of Brother Kane. He was in California, and we co-wrote a lot of those songs together that Brother Kane had success at radio with. And he went on to produce a lot of bands, man. And he wound up working with Aerosmith. And he co-wrote that great song "Jaded" with Steven.
Really? Wow.
He was really pivotal in the creation of that song. So Marty calls me one day and he says, "Hey man, would you be interested in coming to Las Vegas to play guitar with Steven? He's going to do a thing for this big iHeart Radio festival." This was 2011. And I was like, wow, yes, yeah. Man, thank you so much for thinking of me. Because man, he could have called Slash, you know, there's all kinds of people he could have called to come and do this. And he called me. And so he said, well, listen, are you okay playing rhythm guitar that night? I said, no problem, man. Whatever you guys need, I'm easy. I said, who's playing lead guitar? He goes, Jeff Beck.
Oh,
God.
What? So I think I literally like fell off the chair, you know, arms and legs in the air, like, brother, I love you so much right now. I said, man, this is crazy. And he goes, well, it gets better. He goes, we're going to have a guest bass player on one song. And I said, who? John Paul Jones? He goes, better. I said, Geddy Lee. He goes, better. I said, who is it? He goes, Sting.
Oh.
Sting is going to play bass on Sweet Emotion.
Oh, wow.
So guys, my band for 2 songs in October of 2011 was Marty on the drums, Steven on lead vocals, Jeff Beck guitar, Sting on the bass, yours truly on rhythm guitar. There's a YouTube clip to prove that my story is true. So that is the long-winded answer to Jess's question. It's hard for me to top that one.
That's a great story. I'm going to look it up on YouTube right after the show.
Look it up. You will be impressed. You'll be like, wow, there he is.
There he is. Okay.
Okay, cool.
And Michael wants to know, can you describe or talk more about your solo music, your solo work?
Wow. Thank you, Michael. Yeah. You know, what's really strange, guys. I guess my solo stuff started with an acoustic album that I made literally on a fluke back in 2000, right after Brother Kane had called it quits. I just went and played this acoustic gig because someone asked me to, and it turned out really well, and I enjoyed it more because I'd never done it before. I was really nervous the first time, but you know, I kind of relaxed and I just had a great experience with it. So the very next week, this guy booked 2 shows and he came down and he recorded both shows. So I put that out as an album in 2000. So that was kind of the start in a way, because when I wasn't, you know, traveling with Alice Cooper, who I joined later, and I toured with John Waite for a while. You know, when I was home in Birmingham, I would book these solo gigs. Well, you know, that went into about 10 years later, I made a second acoustic record because at that point I'd been in Alice for several years. Just did it for fun, still not thinking about being solo full time. So I guess the start of my proper solo career began after I met my great friend, my new friend now, but we're super tight, Nick Raskulinecz, who's, you know, a Grammy decorated producing badass. He's produced the Foo Fighters, Alice in Chains, Rush, Mastodon, the list goes on and on. So Nick was the one that really encouraged me. He's like, hey man, you know, you're a triple threat. You can play, you can sing, you can write. He goes, let's record some stuff. So, and I must stress, Nick was not interested in any acoustic songs. he's like, I want you to bring that Marshall. I want you to bring that Flying V and those Les Pauls. We're going to rock. And, you know, that's what kicked it off. So we did an EP together in 2016. And, you know, I really, you know, what started as kind of a walk in that direction shortly turned into kind of a full sprint, you know. So it's wild to think that I've put out 4 solo records in just five years. So, you know, credit to Nick for the encouragement. And I'm so proud of, you know, the work that I'm doing now.
Yeah, he produced all 4 of them?
Nick produced the EP. The second one was a live record I did. And then the Memoirs of an Uprising, the record from 2 years ago, I produced that one myself, only because Nick was tied up in the studio at that time. I think he was with Korn.
Wow.
He just said, look, man, you can do it. You know, you get all the tracks, and then when you're finished, I'll mix it. So he mixed that record and did an incredible job. But the new album, Battle Lessons, Nick is he is at the helm, man, from the first note to the last. And I'm telling you guys, this record is badass. I cannot wait for you to hear this new record.
Cool.
You remember that I said Damon Johnson and the Get Ready is here to save rock music in 2021. And when you hear it, you're going to go, okay, I see what he's talking about. I think he was right. It's a great record, man. I mean, you know, I was proud to show up at Nick's studio with some good songs that he was really fired up about. But man, just the sound, the guitars, the performances my guys have done, it's just everything has gone to another level. So yeah, man. I'm sorry, I forget the guy that asked the question, Mike, I think, about the solo stuff. Yeah, man. Can't wait for you to hear the whole record, man. And I'm so proud of it.
Yay, good. Can I ask another question?
Of course.
Okay. One more.
Awesome. So this one is about your daughter. Terry said he knows your daughter has a beautiful voice.
Wow.
She has a beautiful voice, and was commenting, is she following into your footsteps into the music business?
Wow. Thank you so much, Terry. Yeah, you know, I mentioned to you guys about that second acoustic record I did in 2010. It's titled Release. And I wrote a song several years earlier called Better Days Will Come at Last. And it was the lyric was inspired by something that my daughter Sarah had said at the time, right after the 9/11 tragedy, you know, because she was still only like 9 years old when that happened. And, you know, I just remember her kind of feeling this sadness that everyone was feeling, not, you know, of course, all over the country, but even in our house, you know, everybody was melancholy and scared. She just says, well, Dad, you know, better days are going to come one day. And the way she said it, I just, you know, I took out my pen and paper, wrote it down. I'm like, I'm going to work on that. That'd be a good song. I'll write that one day. So I did. So when I was in the studio, you know, this is like 8 years later, she's 16, 17, and she was starting to play a little guitar. She was very inspired by Taylor Swift. You know, the fact that she played guitar and sang. So my Sarah had done a little of that. So I brought her in the studio, and she just knocked it out of the park. You know, all that music is, you know, my music is on all the streaming sites, Spotify and Apple Music and Tidal and whatever, but you got to check out Better Days Will Come at Last, because she just sounds so mature. She sounds like a proper singer. You know, she's got like this cool blend of like Sheryl Crow, you know, with a little bit of like some R&B, you know, white girl from from Alabama. It's like a good blend of all that. And I couldn't be more proud of her. And she'll be thrilled when I tell her that someone asked about her. I just spoke to her today. Sarah's 28 now, and she lives out in Los Angeles. And, just working a straight job. And, she sings with her friends for fun, but she's not really interested in pursuing music full time. She knows how tough it is. She's seen it up close for a long time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Jess.
Hey, thank you, Jess. That was cool. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, we've skipped forward a whole lot, but I want to kind of come back to a couple little points here. Now, why do we know the name Pat Upton?
Oh, come on now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
There it is, baby.
Pat Upton. So cool of you guys to ask about Pat. The short version is Pat Upton was the lead singer for a band in the late 60s, early 70s called the Spiral Staircase. And he was the singer and the lone songwriter, 100% himself. He wrote one of the great pop songs of that era called I Love You More Today Than Yesterday. And the cool story about Pat is that Pat went to high school in that tiny little town in Northeast Alabama with my mother.
The Monroeville?
Really?
Monroeville?
Yeah. Well, Monroeville is where my parents moved to shortly after I was born, because my dad kind of traveled around the state. He was a farm equipment salesman. So we had moved down there because it was kind of central to the different territories that he was working. But we had an opportunity to buy a house back up northeast. Geraldine was the name of that town. That's where my mom was from. That's where Pat was from. So shortly after I graduated high school, I was going to junior college. Well, Pat, who had lived in California for a long time, Pat had just moved back to Northeast Alabama. He had opened a bar in this really cool little town called Gunnersville. It had a lake, like people were always skiing and fishing and stuff like that. Well, the city was able to get their own liquor license, which was a huge deal, guys, because there were no liquor stores anywhere around us, when I was a kid. So when Gunnersville got their liquor license, well, Pat moved back and opened this bar, put a band together. I became the guitar player in that house band.
Wow.
And that band was called Headline. And that was the band I was in, guys, right before I moved to Birmingham to join Split the Dark. As a matter of fact, the Split the Dark guys heard Pat Upton and Headline, that band, and that's when they had seen me play for the first time. But guys, I just can't overstate, how much love I have for Pat. We lost Pat about 3 years ago. He passed away, and he was so encouraging of me. With all of his kind of classic 50s and 60s influence, Pat was not listening to Black Sabbath and Van Halen, like I was, but he could tell how much I loved it. And he was always pushing me, always encouraging me. And, when we started putting the show together at that bar, he wanted me to be featured. He was like, all right, we need some songs for Damon to just, go nuts on. And Pat was a legend in my life from just a little kid, because my mom used to talk about him. She had the vinyl record of the Spiral Staircase, and they all had on like these matching baby blue suits with these white boots on. None of us would be caught dead wearing that stuff today. But yeah, but man, he was what a voice, and we would play that song, Robbie, every night at the club. We would play I Love You More Today Than Yesterday. And of course, Pat had that high voice, man, so we could cover songs by Toto and Journey and Boston and Kansas, and a lot of fun, man. And yeah, Pat's really special. If anyone listening is not familiar with that song, if you go to you go to Spotify and type in "I Love You More," and it'll just print out the rest of the title because it's
right.
it's
It's epic.
It's epic, man.
Yeah.
It's epic. You're right.
So the
man.
name of the club was called PJ Alley's.
PJ's Alley.
PJ's Alley.
PJ's Alley. Yeah, man.
Nice, brother.
Yeah,
Nice.
we really, I cut my teeth at that place, man, because I think it was, it was really pivotal for me, guys, because I had come from playing just a lot of straight ahead rock and hard rock. Well, see, Pat wanted to do other things as well, like Motown and kind of, Beatles and some Stones and stuff like that I hadn't really covered.
Right.
And then the other guys in that band were also super talented, and they were turning me on to bands like Little Feat, Todd Rundgren, a lot of new wave bands, The Cure and The Fix and stuff like that. So it was a great experience.
So I got a question for you. Quick shout out to Luis Maldonado from the band Train. He's in the audience tonight.
What?
Much love for you, Luis.
Oh my God, Luis.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
He was with
Luis is my brother, man.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Right.
What a monster talent.
Yep.
Yeah.
What a talent, man. Wow.
He's a good friend of ours. He's been on the show a few times. We love him. So thanks for tuning in, Luis. We love you, brother.
I love you, Luis Maldonado. Oh man, that's what a treat, man. That's special. Awesome.
Right?
Now,
brothers,
where are you living at now? Where are you at right now?
Robbie, we're in Nashville. You're in Nashville. Yeah,
okay.
We moved to Nashville in 2013. And, we kind of came here because it was sort of halfway between my family in Alabama and my wife's family in Michigan. And, I knew I had some friends that had moved here in recent years. And so we felt like, Linda could have some support whenever I was traveling and on the road. But, shortly after we moved here was when I met Nick Raskulinecz. So, when people say, well, why did you move to Nashville? I just say, so I can make records with Nick Raskulinecz. Yeah.
Nice. It's interesting. So that answers my next question was, do you get back home? Do you get back to Alabama? You must, because obviously you said it's between there. So you're able to get back home and see.
I do, man, as much as I can. Sarah, who I was talking about earlier, she's my middle kid. I have 5 kids.
Oh, wow.
So I had 3 kids with my first wife, Jamie, Heather, Marshall, and Sarah. So Heather and Marshall still live in Birmingham. And so, I have a sister that still lives down there. My mom still lives on that same little farm in Geraldine. So that's not that far away.
Cool. Nice.
So I get to, I love to get back there as much as I can.
That's super cool.
So you're the only West Coaster right now, Robbie.
I know everybody's moving to Nashville. I'm kind of planted here for the time. No, Luis is down the road. He's pretty close to me.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
dude. Luis is definitely a West Coast boy for sure. Drake, where are you exactly?
I'm in West Texas in a town called San Angelo. So
okay, San Angelo. So what is your venue there?
So we've got a venue called the River Stage. It's the Bill Maher Air Memorial Stage. And it's an outdoor amphitheater, really cool. It's got a river that runs behind it. I put Robbie with Jack Russell's Great White Warrant Firehouse there last year. Fantastic venue, man. So
right on, man. Well, I certainly hope that I hope that my path will take me there.
It will, my brother.
In some form, man. I would love to play there. Texas has always been so good to me. And whatever bands I've been a part of, Brother King got so much radio play in Texas in the 90s, man.
We still play you on Jack FM, brother.
Dude, that's so awesome, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm certainly proud of those records. Man, we hoped that the music that we were making would have some kind of timeless quality to it and not sound very dated. And I feel like we did a pretty good job of accomplishing that. And I'm grateful for that.
Being a DJ, brother, it's almost like a current, as it goes, and then you kind of lose it for a little bit, and then it just comes right back. And And it's definitely something, things from Brother Kane and Seeds and stuff. We definitely still play tracks from it. People still request the stuff, man.
You'll be spinning something off the new record of his, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. Absolutely. I've got connections all over the country with program managers and DJs. So that's kind of what we do for our family, the folks that come on with us, such as yourself, is try to push it out there as far as we can and get as much attention as we can.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm certainly grateful to our girl Jody for connecting us and getting us together.
Jody, I owe her a million apologies. I love her to death. I called her sir twice. I said it. Jody, I apologize. You are a female. I'm sure a lovely female. And I can't thank you enough for making these connections for us.
That's
because
awesome,
I did, dude.
man.
I was like, yes, sir, in an email. She's like, it's all good, but I'm not a sir. And I'm like, no problem, sir. I'm like, what did I just do? It's like, come on, man.
Jody Foster, you should know. He's probably thinking the outlaw Josie Wales, like Josie. No, not Jody. It's Jody, not Josie.
Actually, the dude who ran our media for us, our websites and everything, was Jody Gentry. That's his name. And and I talked to him so much, so automatically it was just a dude, And
hey, man,
so Jody,
you gotta
sorry.
You gotta cut yourself some slack, Drake. That's an innocent mistake, man. I know some male and female Jodies as well, so it's all good.
It's hard to tell through email,
Of course, man. So it's nearly impossible.
Right? So, brother, you and Robbie actually have kind of an odd connection that I just found, is that you have both rocked the stage with Rob Halford.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no kidding, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, Robbie, did you play with Rob, or did one of the band
Fight?
Oh, you were in Fight.
I did the end of the War of Words tour.
Wow.
Russ had quit the band and they hired me. They needed somebody, it was 5 days, and boom, I was out on tour, no rehearsal, gone, which is
awesome,
a great experience. He was, incredible, of course, as you know.
Rob is super incredible, man.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of those guys. Like the first time I met him, I was definitely intimidated because I hold those records, and he occupies so much real estate, and just, he's arguably the greatest metal singer of all time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you both know who the other names are. That list is very, very short.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's damn sure on it. And we can get 100 people in here and we can argue about who's number one, but he's in the top 3.
Oh yeah.
Without question.
He was consistent every night, just spot on every single night.
Yeah.
And, and it was super cool because it was my first national gig, and be able to see him, I'm looking out and going, pinching myself. I'm playing Judas Priest songs with, the man. Oh my God, is this really happening? Oh God. And all the Priest stuff was like, I grew up on it like you did. I grew up on it. I knew it. It was easy. The Fight stuff I wasn't real familiar with. So I was like, okay, I got to tune to see,
Right. Well, good for you, man. What a great experience. What a great experience.
So you work with Rob. Where'd you work with Rob at? What'd you do?
Well, see, I didn't work directly with Rob, but Thin Lizzy, when I joined Thin Lizzy in 2011, and our very first tour that I did with the band was we supported Priest in the U.S., man, literally for like 30 shows. It was a long tour. It was an incredible tour. And then when Lizzy evolved into Black Star Riders, we did more dates with Priest, kind of spread around, little spot dates here and there, but then we did a proper, yet again, a North American run with Priest. It was Judas Priest, Saxon, Black Star Riders, and that was in, I guess, 2018.
Right.
When we did that.
Yeah. So Judas Priest, I can remember being a chubby little 12-year-old, brother, riding my 10-speed with my Sony Walkman, jamming some Defenders of the Faith and screaming for vengeance. And I'd put the headphones underneath my football helmet and I'd practice. And I busted it and it went through the side of my temple area. And the coach was like, what the hell is this? I'm like, it's it's Judas Priest, bro. You know, you can't have this on the field. Come on, brother. It's Judas Priest.
That's the best. That's the best, man. Well,
Definitely.
you know what, guys? It's funny that we're talking about this, and it makes me reflect on the fact that, I started out, all the way back in those early, garage band days. Certainly once I moved to Geraldine and I started getting into more like British metal bands, man, I was so deeply entrenched in hard rock, that lean metal. Van Halen was at the top for me, but Ozzy with Randy Rhoads, Priest, Iron Maiden,
Oh yeah.
Saxon, and ultimately, man, we got into those first two Def Leppard records, when they came out.
High and Dry.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was a great band from up the East Coast in the US called Riot. Do you remember that band?
Oh yeah.
Riot.
Dude, Restless Breed was one of those records, man. We loved that band so much. And so I was just so steeped in that music. And then my path took me all over the place, man. Playing with Headline, with Pat Upton and the Motown stuff, and then Split the Dart was very much more like a new wave pop band.
Faith Hill.
Well, yeah, that came later, but the Brother Kane thing, like I said, we were so inspired by Guns N' Roses and the Black Crowes, so that music certainly had an edge. But after Brother Kane, man, it was the Faith Hill thing, and I wrote a song that Stevie Nicks recorded and Santana recorded, and and I was doing the acoustic stuff, and it's sort of like I kind of pulled back from, the big riff, hard rock stuff, because I think for a minute there, I felt like, well, maybe that's just not meant for me to do, because in a way, I felt like Brother Kane, we could have had more success. And I think I took a lot of that on my own shoulders. Like, well, maybe it was my fault. So I'm saying all that to say, after touring with Alice, joining Thin Lizzy, playing in Black Star Riders, guys, it just brought me 360 degrees right back to big riffs, tempo, energy, songs. And, the fact that the music business has changed so much that a guy like me that has been around, man, I can just be independent and do my own thing and put out my own records, with social media. And thank you again for your kind words about the website, Drake.
Absolutely, brother.
It's important for me to keep that stuff looking sharp, new content, new music, new stuff. I don't have 10,000 fans. I may not have 5,000 fans, but the ones I do have, man, they're diehard, they're passionate. They've been so supportive. And I just feel like it's this, I guess maybe ironic is the word I'm looking for, but that, I'd be in my 50s and writing the heaviest hard rock stuff that I've ever written, man. And, the guitar is front and center, the tempos are up, the energy's there. I just feel like Battle Lessons, especially, man, the new record that we're almost finished with. I think it's the record that Renegade would have wanted to make,
Cool.
I mean,
Right.
it's heavier than Brother Kane. No doubt, man. It's heavier than even that stuff. So, and I couldn't be happier. Yeah, I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be more thrilled. I mean, it's still, quality vocal melodies, and it's got hooks and all that stuff. But, Brother Kane never played with the tempo that, that these songs have. Again, man, I just can't wait for you guys to hear it. I cannot wait.
Cool.
I got a sample from Jody, and I'm jamming it already. I got to tell you, brother, it takes me back to exactly what heavy metal rock and roll is supposed to be about. And we were talking about, actually, we talked about this last week, is I'm not concerned about the future of rock and roll anymore. You know what I mean? And I have been for a long time as a DJ, and seeing all the crap and the trends and the, you know, the pop country and the Biebers and all this, and that rock categories aren't on the award shows anymore. And if they are, they're not televised and all these things. And I'm starting to see this resurgence of people who just want rock and roll. Now, Jack FM, we play everything. That's our motto. No matter what it is, we play it. And every request, every dedication is that 70s, 80s, 90s hard driving, back breaking metal that we miss. And so it's a the resurgence is coming out. And you are definitely right on point, brother.
Well, brother, I love your description of that. Everything you just said, man, that's inspiring to me, and that just gets me excited. You know, it is unfortunate that what you said is true. It's like rock and roll is not the cultural influence that it once was, and it probably never will be again, you know. But I'm not going to let trends or what's popular dictate the songs that I write or the kind of music that I want to make, man. Because ultimately, I just feel like, man, if you truly are an artist, man, you're writing songs for yourself. I'm making these records to make something to listen to that I'm not hearing anywhere else. You know, look, I'm always searching for new stuff. Every once in a while, I'll hear a new song, maybe a new band or a new singer, and go, oh, wow, that's really cool. But, you know, pound for pound, man, if I'm looking for stuff to really get like energized about that makes me want to pick up the guitar, I'm listening to Highway to Hell. I'm listening to the live Pat Travers record. You know, I'm listening to Van Halen's first 6 records.
Right.
And I'm always going to, man. You know, Zeppelin and the Stones, and, you know, we could go on and on. Aerosmith.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Why can't I still be inspired by that music and make what I describe as modern sounding, classic influenced rock? That's what I'm doing. And that's what I'm going to do the rest of my life. That's what I'm doing until my time here is done, because that's the stuff that gets me off. That's the stuff that I love. And
absolutely,
it's not the most popular genre, like you said, Drake. I had an old buddy, ironically, from Texas. He's from Dallas. He called me. He's like, well, man, tell me about your new record. I says, dude, it's badass. It's hard, it's riffs, hard rock, you know, just guitar is ripping. I'm going for it. He goes, well, do you think there's a market for that? I said, dude, I don't give a shit if there's a market for it, man. I don't care. I don't care, man. I'm going to make music that I love, and I feel confident that if it gets me off, there's other people that are going to dig it.
Absolutely. You know, it is. It's really a question of people being able to hear it, the avenue for them to hear it, because you know that people are going to like it. And there's going to be people who don't. Fine. But I mean, if there's 6 billion people on Earth and half of them like it, or even a third of them like it, it's just a matter of getting them to all these people. Really, that's the challenge, Robbie. You said that great, man. You know, the challenge is just getting it in front of people, and that's, guys, that is a Rubik's cube that none of us may ever really be able to solve. You know, in the next 20 years. You know, the internet is great in a lot of ways, and it's made things harder in a lot of ways. So I've never wanted to like just sit here and complain. It's like, well, we got to adapt. We got to pivot. We got to figure out ways, man, to get out there and find those people. And listen, fellas, that's why I'm grateful to you right now for having me on the show, and, you know, just taking some time to, acquaint some of your fans with Damon Johnson and this music. And I hope they'll at least give it a listen, because I assure you, if they'll check it out, they'll dig it. I promise. They will. They'll check it out. They're pretty.
Yeah. Let me bring up your website actually while we're sitting here talking. I'm gonna show people, because number one, it's a badass website.
You will
look at that guy. Look at that guy.
Right.
See,
this
Damon
is
Johnson.
Sweet.
Sick website, man. Damon, so you can do the pre-orders right here through your website.
Yeah, man. The pre-order is still up. We had a good campaign with that. There's my boy Nick right there.
Right. You You can do some shopping in here, man. You got the news.
Wow, look at you, Drake. This is killer, man. I should
Right.
hire you to do like an advertisement for my website.
Hey, brother, I'm on it. That's what I do for a living.
Look
You
at
know,
that.
your
That's
artwork
good.
is incredible artwork. Who's doing the album artwork for you, brother? 'Cause this
This is
stuff
good.
is killer.
Drake, this is going to blow your mind. The same Stefan that created my website, he did that artwork.
Seriously.
He did the artwork for Memoirs of an Uprising. He did the Echo. I'm sorry, no, he did the live album cover. The new album, Battle Lessons, ironically, is my brother-in-law, my sister, my wife Linda. It's her brother Carl. So Carl is also a very talented graphic artist. So I just feel like between Carl and Stefan, man, I don't see me ever going to anybody else ever for the rest of my life. You know,
I need Stefan as my new best friend in life is what I need.
well, I will hook you up, bro.
So let's see. So that's your brother-in-law's work?
Yeah, that's Carl.
Dude, that's sick, brother. That is
Yeah,
straight sick. Look at that.
It's really killer, man. I'll tell him you said that. He had done some designs that he just put up for fun on his Instagram page, and I was clicking around on it one night, and I saw that image with like 3 or 4 other ones, and I texted him screenshots of them. I'm like, bro, what's happening? These are insane. And he's like, yeah, it's just some stuff I did, just in a creative burst. And I started thinking and throwing some things around, and I knew the album title was going to be Battle Lessons. And that piece of art right there just spoke to me. I love how like the line comes in from the left,
Right.
Almost like it's moving. And then obviously it starts creating what looks to me to be like something seismic.
Right.
And then it hits the center point, and then it explodes and just looks great.
So for those of us, Damon and Robbie and myself, and when you track something or you run it through, whatever program, Cubase, whatever, and this is what audio tracks look like a lot of the time. And it just looks like it's power driving through the establishment is what it hits me in the head is how I picture it. So
that's a great description, bro. Well, yeah, you're right. That does look like a waveform on Pro Tools or Logic or Cubase, like you said. But then that image on the right side is like something like I've never seen before. So that's
right.
That's what I love about it.
Luis Maldonado said he's trying to make some comments, but to send you his love. Joseph Plain, I want to make his legacy live on. Your legacy is going to live on. These are just some comments from the audience.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Joseph.
Dale Preston says, absolutely agree. You are a fantastic, humble man and a joy to listen to. Robert, what is Damon's favorite drink? Don't care what alcohol, Kool-Aid, prune juice, whatever. I just want to know what your favorite drink is.
Well, I would have to give a shout out to just carbonated those LaCroix drinks. I live on those things during the day because I love the carbonation, but I'm trying to keep my girlish figure, Robbie. I gotta stay away from those lattes at Starbucks, but I definitely like a good glass of red wine from time to time. So I saw kind of the description of your show that Jody sent me, and you said, grab a drink, put your feet up. I was like, all right, I'll just go pour myself a glass of vino right now.
That's what it's about.
Now I don't feel so bad drinking some wine. I'll pour a little more. I thought maybe I was the only one drinking.
I am cheating. Good. I'm drinking honey lemon water just to keep the throat nice tonight, and then my typical water.
Good on you, man. Yeah. Guys, I got to tell you, I'm so blown away that Luis Maldonado is on this. I love that guy so much.
He's a mega talent, no question. He's just
monster talent and a sweetheart. Yeah,
absolutely.
Our paths crossed back in the early 2000s. because he would come in and sub. I think this was right. He would sub for me with John Waite when I had some other commitment at home. And then when I got the call to join the Alice Cooper band in 2004, I think Luis came in and played a lot of shows with John. But man, I've run into Luis in different random places, guys, literally around the world. And, you know, he's just one of my great friends. He's like family. So this makes me happy. I love you, Luis. If you're still listening, man, we gotta hook up soon, dude.
Me too. He's shooting me texts. I'm like, oh. You know, it's funny. I ran into him in New Hampshire. We were playing there one night, and we landed. The promoter's going, "Yeah, train's playing down the road." I'm going, "No kidding." And then all of a sudden, I get a text from Luis going, "Hey, I see you're playing down the road. Why don't you come on out and see us?" And I'm like, "You got it." I pushed our start time back later and went out and watched his show.
That's great, man. Dude, that guy can play. That guy can play.
And you know what? He can sing. That boy can sing.
Yeah, right. He's a total package. Yeah, total package.
What you might not know is he used to live in Tucson. That's how I first knew him. I grew up in Tucson, and
okay,
I'm a little bit older than him, a little bit. But he, a guy that was in his band, a kid came in and started taking lessons from me, and he used to talk about Luis, and then it kind of faded, and then years later, about maybe 9 years ago, I ran into Luis, and when we started talking and the connection, we were like, "Oh my God, I know who you are," and we like just started talking and became close. After that,
well, he's that guy has the light. He has the light in his whole aura, certainly in his playing and how he is with his family. A lot of love for that guy.
You know, it's crazy that you say that because we had a conversation. I called him last week for something, and he's like, "Hey, I'm in the studio right now with John Waite," and I'm like, "So that's ironic." But just everything he always says is, "Man, I'm so grateful you're in my life, and I'm so grateful for this. I'm so grateful." And really, it's you can't not be happy around him. It's just like, and I found myself kind of addicted. Like, man, I need to text Luis. I'm feeling kind of down today. I need a little pick me up, Luis.
That's our boy.
He's a fantastic dude, and he'll be working on something. He's always working on something at his house to keep himself occupied. So good on you. Yeah. Hey, I got a question, brother. What's it like? Like helping write a song with Fleetwood Mac?
Well, time out. I wish it had been like that. Obviously you're referring to the song that Stevie Nicks recorded,
right?
So the story on that song, Drake, is right after Brother Kane ended, I continued to write. I was thinking about maybe putting out a solo record. Wasn't sure. And I was writing with my friend John Shanks. I mean, I feel like I'm name dropping this entire interview, man.
No,
because all these guys from my past are like mega talents. Now they're big shot producers and songwriters.
Right.
But John and I both had a publishing deal with EMI. He had written a couple songs for me that were on the third and final Brother Kane record. Then we got back together to write again. We were working on this one song. I got up to go get, glass of water or something. I came back and he was playing something totally different. And I was like, "Hey man, that's kind of cool." And he goes, "Yeah, there's something in this." And I picked up the guitar and a vocal melody came really fast and we stumbled on these lyrics, and Robbie, you know what I'm talking about, man. It's like sometimes a song will just write itself.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what this one did. So I went back home to Alabama. We demoed that song. What I didn't know, because I knew that John played guitar with Melissa Etheridge. Well, Melissa was managed by the same company that managed Stevie Nicks. What I didn't know is that Stevie Nicks' manager had kind of put out the feelers around Los Angeles, like, "Hey, Stevie's almost done with her record. She's looking for one more song."
Wow.
John, savvy businessman that he is, he makes a CD with like 14 or 15 songs that he had been working on with various artists, over the last several months. It gets to Stevie. She listens to the disc. She goes, I love this song. Can I record this song? And the story ends with John actually produced her version of the song. So it bums me out, man. I've yet to actually meet Stevie face to face, but I did speak to her briefly on the phone one night when they were working on the track.
Oh, cool.
And she just said, Damon, I love your melody. I'm going to sing this exactly the way you wrote it. Guys, come on.
Wow.
Stevie Nicks, listen, she's one of the great rock songwriters. Forget what a great singer she is. She's one of the great rock songwriters, man, of our lifetime, of our era.
Absolutely.
And she wanted to record a song that I had something to do with. Come on, guys. I still
huge,
can't
brother.
believe it. I still can't believe it. I'm so proud of that and grateful for that.
That's killer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what about, I got to ask about, did you open for Van Halen or something? There was something to do with Van Halen that I saw. We got to know, because I'm a big Eddie fan like you are. Grew up on the Eddie stuff. I mean, come on, Eddie.
Yeah,
I mean,
big time, man.
you got to tell
you know what, Robbie, we the second Brother Kane record that Drake mentioned earlier, Seeds.
Yeah.
We had a good run with that song and Fools Shine On. It had gotten so much airplay on mainstream rock radio that year. And that's what really opened the door for us to get to open some dates for Van Halen. They had put out that album called Balance.
Yeah.
And man, again, I was over the moon thrilled. And those guys could not have been cooler. They could not have treated us more like family. I have just a lifetime of memories, man, of conversations I had with all four of them. Sometimes two of them in the room at once, and they would come out and watch us play, and got to spend a ton of time with Eddie. And I really kind of established a bit of a bond with all four of them. I haven't talked to Alex in a long time, but I keep in touch with Michael, keep in touch with Sam. And, I guess now that Eddie's no longer with us, this is it's an interesting kind of a bizarre memory for me, man. But right after the tour finished, not long after that, is when Sammy quit the band. Remember, they had a big falling out.
Yeah.
He quit the band. Guys, he called me like the next week and asked me, would I come to, San Francisco and drive up to his house and write with him. Wow. So I did. And I got two songs that I played on. One I wrote with Sam that was on that Marching to Mars record that he put out, which was 97, I think. And then what's weird is shortly after that, I was back in Los Angeles writing with Marty for what was going to be the third Brother Kane record. And I got a call from Ed. He says, hey, man, come up to the studio. I heard you're in town. So, man, I went up to the house in 5150, and they were putting those songs together. Gary Sharon, had just become the singer, and mind-blowing. Just, again, man, like crazy stuff, man. And, that was before cell phones. And, of course, I wouldn't have dared, pulled out my camera and said, hey, man, can I take some pictures? That would have been a faux pas.
Yeah. Understand it. Like, you don't have pictures from working with whoever, you don't do that. You don't understand. It's not the way it works.
Yeah. Don't do that.
No, not cool.
Not
but yeah,
cool.
without a doubt, man, Van Halen, just monumental influence for all of us.
All of us.
I'm not special with how much I love Van Halen. There are millions of us that love that band. So yeah,
absolutely, my brother.
Changed the generation. He changed pop culture. When they came out, they influenced that whole next 12, 13 years. I mean, it's incredible what he did for the sport
Yeah, well, you know what? You know what's been amazing about all the tributes to Ed over the last couple months is that there's been a lot of great articles and a lot of great commentary about how he appeared on stage. You know, everyone talks about how he was smiling. He was always smiling.
Yeah.
You know, the whole band was smiling in the beginning.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a hard time convincing me that that wasn't really at the heart of the essence of why they exploded. Listen, man, if they'd have been up there grimacing and been in like leather and studs and, you know,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have had the same impact.
No.
Think about it. It would not have had the same impact. But those guys had the balls to go out and, you know, as the opening act for Black Sabbath, and they're up there running around and jumping up and down like a bunch of teenage kids, you know, at a backyard, you know, weekend keg party, you
Right.
know, and the audience, all of us, man, that saw them back then, you know, it was like a drug.
Oh
And
yeah.
we're like, not only do they play great, not only do they look great, their songs are great. I feel great. It's a win-win.
Right.
It's
Right.
nothing. Nobody could touch that, man.
Yeah.
What wasn't it Carmine Apiece, Robbie, that we had on that was talking about Van Halen opened for them, and it was the first time he had ever felt
That was Zeppelin.
Zeppelin. That's right. That's right.
Oh, that's right.
You're back.
A little further.
Yeah, that was another big band right there.
Yeah,
Right.
the Lady Zeppelin. Yeah.
A lot of people are saying you ought to write a book, brother. You need an autobiography.
No kidding.
Wow, man. Well, to everybody listening, man, you know, I appreciate you saying that. That's also flattering. Maybe so, man. You know, maybe so. It would be a lot of fun. You know, I would definitely would want it to be authentic. I'm a fan of great music biographies.
Me too.
I've read so many of them, and you know, there are some that just really get it right. And you know, part of everyone's story that makes it truly interesting is the ins and outs of, you know, other things that happen along their path and that affected their lives. You know, there's no question, man, that, you know, my family is the thing I'm grateful for beyond anything.
Right.
And, you know, we all went through some bumps and bruises along the way. You know, my first wife, who was my high school sweetheart. And, you know, that was a tough experience for her and for us, you know, coming from this tiny little small town in nowhere, Alabama, and having 3 kids. And the next thing you know, my band is all over the radio and we're on tour with Aerosmith and Van Halen. Guys, they don't write a book to teach you how to handle that.
Oh, that's stunning. And I think it's such a great story to hear because, I mean, for anybody, there's so many kids that are growing up now in little towns, and it doesn't have to be music. It could be anything they're aspiring to be. But just to hear the fact that you came from a little town and went where you went is super inspiring to people to go, you know what? It can be done. It can be done.
Yeah.
It's just,
Well, I agree with you, Robbie. And honestly, I think that would be the essence of what I would want to really get across. You know, listen, man, all 3 of us, man, we can name drop for 12 hours. And yeah, man,
Right.
I'm grateful for those stories and it's fun to tell them. But, you know, there's a lot of people that I have to thank that have gotten me here. And none of those people are famous. They're not known to any of my fans or to any of my peers in the business. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for them. And I just think that that's really truly the interesting part of you know, what led to someone like me being able to have the experiences I've had, and you know, different bands and write with different people. And I don't know, you know, I'm always flattered when people say you should write a book. I won't kid you, I'm starting to hear that a lot. You know, maybe I will, because again, I'm a fan of a great music biography. There's some great ones.
And it needs to be said, brother. I mean, it needs to be shared. I mean, these are the things that if they don't get shared, they get forgotten throughout time. And and more people need to know these things. I've got a question for you from my mommy. All right. And she says, it is apparent that you are so humble and grateful for your success. So I have a hard question for you. What about the industry do you not like, and what would you want to change?
Wow. Thank you, Mom, for that. That's a great question. And I think that if you had have asked me that question, you know, in the mid 90s, if you'd have asked me that in the early 2000s, and then asking me now, I think you would get three different answers. I think because I love the industry right now. I love it because, guys, a guy in his mid 50s that is a veteran, a seasoned, experienced veteran, dude, guys like my age in the 80s or 90s, dude, you were wadded up and thrown away. Nobody wanted to hear about you, know about it. You're too old, you're not hip, you don't wear the right clothes, you're not young enough, whatever.
Right.
Those days are over, man. So right now in the 21st century, in the 2010s, if you can write songs, if you can perform, if you can play your instrument well, and if you're not afraid of hard work, dude, you can do anything. You can do anything you want to. Now, I feel like I check all those boxes. To your mom's question, the thing I don't like about right now is what we were talking about earlier, Drake. Man, it's hard to poke through. It's hard to, you know, get people's attention. You know, I feel like I'm over here going, hey, you got to hear this, man. You got to hear this song.
Right.
Right. You know, the whole thing that social media and the internet has done to the whole world, man, is people just listen in 10-second nuggets. They'll give it 10 seconds and then they go to Instagram and they'll listen to something else for 20 seconds and then they get on Facebook or they are playing a game. You know, dude, my son is around the corner in here playing his PlayStation 4, dude. I mean, the graphics on that thing look like a James Cameron movie. You know, it's so incredible. If I was sick, if the three of us were 16 right now, guess what? We'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
We'd be doing the same thing. We wouldn't be that interested in, you know, Les Pauls and Marshall Stacks and Rob Halford and all the stuff that we love.
Right.
We were 16. It was like, I mean, the music was the cultural thing.
Everything.
Right. I mean, it was like parties or bars. But if you're 16, it's more like parties and bands and music. It wasn't all these things. Oh, this thing. Oh, this shiny nickel. This shiny nickel. It was really kind of down to, you know, it was about music. Music was an event. I'd go to a Kiss concert. It was like, oh my God, you know, Van Halen concert. It was an event.
Yeah, man. Well, and the way you just said that, Robbie, it made me think of something else we haven't really talked about tonight. Is I mentioned earlier that Thin Lizzy had morphed into Black Star Riders, another band that I love deeply. So proud of those songs, man. All three of those records that we made together, man, those things will stand the test of time. It's quality songwriting, quality playing, and you know, just great rock and roll. However, I just realized, man, at that time it started to weigh on me like, man, it's so hard to break through. It's hard to get people to pay attention. Here's this great band. We've got Scott Gorham, the original guy from Thin Lizzy, who's a legend.
Oh yeah.
He's in our band, you know, but we didn't call it Thin Lizzy. It was a new band, a new name. And I began to think long and hard. It's like, man, if I'm going to start something from scratch, it's time for me to go home and start focusing on my own music and just do my own thing, man. Because I just don't see the culture. I don't see the infrastructure for music changing very much in the rest of my lifetime. So I might as well do my own thing. I might as well do that, man. And, you know, I couldn't be happier, guys, working for myself and with my friends.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't have to go to London anymore to have band practice. That's not sustainable. It's not sustainable to do something like that anymore. I miss those guys. I'll love them till death, and I keep in touch with all of them. And ultimately, I credit that experience for kind of, you know, pushing me in my own head and into what I'm doing now. And these records would not rock as hard as my new records. They wouldn't rock as hard as they do had it not been for, you know, the influence of Black Star Riders. So again, I'm grateful. But man, guys, I'm so happy to be doing my own thing.
Absolutely, brother.
That's cool.
Absolutely. So when's it out for everybody to grab? Where's it going to be?
Thank you, Drake. Right now, the street date for the Battle Lessons album by Damon Johnson and the Get Ready is Friday, January the 22nd, 2021.
Oh, nice.
We've had a couple of hiccups on the calendar related to the coronavirus that have pushed things back a little bit. I'm still pushing to be able to make that release date. It might put the physical, you know, certainly getting the vinyl manufactured in time. It may push that back a little bit, but we got everything. All the drums and bass are done. I have 3 songs left to finish the vocals on and put some lead guitar on, and we'll be done. And man, I'm going to be running around this house, dude, getting the artwork done and sending the, you know, the masters in to get the CD pressed up and the vinyl done.
Nice, brother.
But yeah,
nice.
Man, you know, I appreciate you mentioning the website. It's easy, man. Go to damonjohnson.com. Everything's there. There's information about the pre-order for the new record. There's a lot of cool historical stuff there, different records I've been a part of. Y'all check out that Damon Johnson store. You can get a bunch of Christmas presents there, man. Take
right
care
here
of all
in
your
the
friends
shop.
this year.
Yeah. Go in that shop, baby. Pick it up.
Go to the
you
store,
got some
man.
Picks.
I got guitar picks. I got
phone cases, shirts,
cell phone covers, shirts, hoodies, hats.
Special DJ stuff.
Oh, dude, I got this laying right here on my desk, Drake and Robbie. Check it out. This is hot off the press. This is the brand new Damon. This is the very first Get Ready t-shirt. That's nice, one of the logos. Brother. And once the record's out, we're gonna have a shirt that's got that killer artwork on it as well, man. So Double Dragon Records, boy. You're talking to the owner, operator, independent artist right here.
And a lot of people, and especially in our audience, appreciate that. They realize that they're going straight to you. They know it's going right to you because it's you that's running it all. There's no middleman in between there, so you've got to go straight to the website. That's the place you go.
Guys, let me tell you, man, I'm so proud of the work that my wife Linda has done helping me. Got a couple great friends that are big help. Ben Owen has been with me forever. He's my buddy that lives up in Illinois. Man, when you write to us at the store, if you've got questions about stuff, one of those people will write you back immediately. They'll answer your question. Some of the pre-order stuff, you know, people are asking like, hey, why is it taking so long? That email, all those questions get answered, man, because you know, like I said, this is our little independent business, and that's how I would want to be treated. So that's how we're going to treat everybody else, man. So I'm, you know, grateful for all the support from my little fan base. And again, guys, I cannot thank you enough for this tonight, man. I've enjoyed this like you can't know. I should have warned you, Drake. I talk a lot, dude. Look how long we've been talking, man.
Brother, I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm good. I want to push this. I want to promote it. I want to pump it. As soon as it hits, I want to get some rotations on it and start spreading it out with my people and with Jack FM. Obviously, we're nationwide, and just try to get as many people listening to this as possible. We've got the links on our website. We'll leave those on there. If you click on his name, his picture, album art, anything, I've got it all linked going right back to your website, Damon. So
Drake, you guys are incredible, man. Thank you. That's incredible. And let me make sure that I get this across to you and to your fan base. I mean, people can hear Battle Lessons right now. Battle Lessons is out. The single, the title track. The title track is out right now. Spotify, Apple Music, all the streaming sites. Cool. We're about to drop the official video. There's one video on YouTube now that's got some behind the scenes in the studio stuff that really turned out great. But there's an official video dropping probably middle of December. So
well, let me
ask
you this real quick, Damon. Is there any licensing rights on this that I would be pushing boundaries on if I dropped the song on here right now?
No. Play that song.
Well, let's fucking crank it up right now then, dude.
Hey, guess what? You're talking to the record company president right now.
Okay.
All right, I'm searching.
We have permission to play it.
We have permission to play it.
Permission to launch.
So I am going to find it here in the email that Jody sent me.
Oh, and while you're doing that, let me make a comment. You should write this book. When you write this book, write it from the point of a kid growing up in a small town. I'm telling you, everybody will relate to that. Some kid that came from small town America and did what met and did what you did. I tell you, people will eat that up. That is your angle,
Robbie. That's a great idea, bro. To write it from that perspective,
all the way through. All the way through. Even when you're, meeting with Sammy Hagar, you're writing from the perspective of a kid that was 13 years old playing in Renegade. It's just
that's amazing, man.
I think
that's amazing.
It's really, I would read it. I'd buy it.
That's incredible, brother.
All right, so this is the only way I can bring it up right now. So this is how we're gonna have to rock it right now.
That's good.
Hey, Drake.
Yo, brother.
What if you would? Can you go to YouTube? Because the video's on YouTube. If you type in Damon Johnson and the Get Ready.
All right, let me do that right now. You're seeing me do this live as we talk, man.
I love it, dude. I love it. Damon Johnson and the Get Ready. There it is. There it is.
All right.
Nice.
That's it at the top. The one at the top. Yeah, click on that. Here we go.
Get it. Let me.
Oh, I watched this. Yeah. I saw this.
So careless and the way you talk. Sad how you break a boy in two. Someday you'll suffer for your sins, but right now I'm suffering from you. When we were young, nothing to lose. We were invincible. Take a look at you screaming like, God, what have I done? How could I ever feel like you were the one? No battle lessons lost on me. Tomorrow can't come fast enough. We're through. Now it feels so good to shed your skin. Your words, they started from the start. And all that time I spent defending you, you were helping to break my heart. When we were young, nothing to lose. We were invincible. Take a look at you screaming like, God, what have I done? How could I ever feel like you were the one? No battle lessons lost on me. Tomorrow can't come fast enough. I'm never
Where's the clapper? Come on, everybody.
Dude, I'm telling you. So just in that short little time, we just had this whole list of comments handed to me. Hell yeah, love this, fucking nice. Love
Oh,
it.
man.
Love the song. Someone jamming it. This is clutch. Lyrics are relatable. Oh, hell yeah. So,
Wow, man.
right?
That's so great, guys. Well, thank you for playing that. You know, it's like for all of our talking about so many different things tonight, you know, when I see that video, I mean, that footage was, you know, we weren't pantomiming, dude. That we had cameras set up when we were actually recording those parts, and I was singing that vocal, and Jared's playing the drums and Robbie on the bass. You know, man, we're musicians, man. That's what we love more than anything.
Right.
There's so much emphasis on just the art of making records, and I mean, we live for that, man. You know, the right microphones and the right sound, and just kind of getting in the right headspace. And I don't know, man. It's just been fantastic talking with you both tonight, because we've kind of taken this trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
And you know, to wrap it up with, you know, seeing that video, man, it just, again, fellas, it just makes me so proud. I am so proud of this moment in my musical career, proud of my band, proud of Nick and the job he's done producing, you know, grateful for my family and their support, man. They support me following my bliss. You know, I couldn't do it if without them and their help. So,
Cool.
you know,
Absolutely.
we got to do this again, fellas. I
Yeah.
have enjoyed this beyond anything I could have imagined. Thank you.
We going over to Twitch TV soon. So once we're on the new format, we got to bring you in the new format for sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
I haven't talked about this yet, Robbie, and here's my production assistant.
All right.
Hey, who is that guy?
Say, this is Dakota, man.
This is Dakota, man.
Hey, Dakota, how are you doing, buddy? How
Say
old
hi.
are you?
Hi.
How old are you, Dakota? How old are you?
8.
8, dude. 8. I love it. 8 years old, man. I remember every day of being 8. You know why? Because I couldn't wait. Because I couldn't wait to be 9.
Say, man, he just turned 9 or 8 just this last weekend. So
That's great, buddy. It was nice to meet you, Dakota. Your
nice
dad
meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
See you, buddy. Now go do your homework and go to bed.
Right.
Exactly. Please. They never leave the house.
I don't want them to leave.
I
Well,
know, man.
I don't want them to leave.
So addicted to it now. I mean, because of the lockdowns and, you know, just, okay, well, we'll do the homeschooling online classes, blah, blah. I'm addicted to it now. I'm like, no, we're never going back to normal. So
Well,
anyway,
man, I'm so awesome, man. You guys had a lot of special guests tonight, and yeah, it was so cool, Drake, that your mom had
I know, right?
submitted a question. I want you to show your mom this picture, okay? I'm going to leave you with this one.
All right, brother.
This is my favorite picture, and I have photos of Tom Petty and Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix. This room is loaded with great photos, but this one is my favorite right here. That is my oldest daughter, Heather,
Oh, nice.
and my first grandbaby.
Wow.
That's my granddaughter, Marlo.
They're both
And
beautiful.
yeah, dude. So we're hoping to, you know, obviously we're paying attention to the news, and you know the pandemic is just ramping up again. So we're hoping we get to see everybody for Thanksgiving. I'm ready to hang out with that baby.
There you go, my brother. There you go. So we're going to get you back real soon, my friend. I promise. I'm going to shoot Jody a text with both Robbie and I's phone numbers for her to pass on to you so we can all stay in touch and keep this thing going, because I do want to talk to you live on air on Jack FM. Once the album drops, let's pound it. Let's play it. Let's get you doing a couple quick calls and really get some force moving that way out here. So,
Drake, thank you so much, man. Thank you to you and Robbie both. Do that. Send that info to Jody. I'll hit you straight back.
All right, my brother. Much love. Stay strong.
Appreciate
And
it.
thanks
man.
for coming on, my friend.
Very cool. It was a
Fellas,
great
hey,
time. Really
Thank
like.
you so much. Hey,
Enjoyed it.
continued success to both of you, man. This is an awesome thing you're doing. Thank you
Thanks,
for
buddy.
thanks for letting me be a part of it. We'll talk soon.
Cool.
All right, my brother. Thanks much.
All right, fellas. See you.
Damon Johnson, right here, right now. It was incredible.
That's what it's about right there.
That's what it's about.
He actually went back and with joy in his heart went back to Renegade. You never know how it's going to be. You want to, some people like want to forget their past, but it's like he's the same way I am. I don't want to forget that. That's your
Right.
roots, your beginning are so important to who you are. That's why I suggested when he does a book and he needs to do a book, he needs to do that book from the perspective of the kid that was playing in Renegade. I mean, how cool would that be? Who couldn't relate to that?
Here's the homework for tonight's show, because exactly what Robbie and I want just happened. We want to get all of those little nuances, the 8th grade band, come on, dude, getting on stage with Pat and Motown and classics.
Right? Stories you might not hear from,
Right.
in our interview. We try and get the different stories and the different angle and just, get the real person to come out. And he's clearly a real guy. I really like him.
He's going to be part of our circle for sure, man.
Yeah.
So something I was about to mention and then I held up on, but you and I haven't even talked about this off the air yet, Robbie.
Okay.
Is we have a December 22nd date. That's going to be one of the nights of the show would be December 22nd.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So what I'm thinking is maybe we get all of our favorite past guests to come on as like a Christmas special where we're all on here and we do the round table that you and I have talked about. And that would be the show for that night is bring in the Louise, bring in the Magic, bring in Jack.
In a whole bottle of wine. That'd be cool.
It.
I'd like to see how Luis and Magic, I think, that's I think that those guys would just connect.
They connect.
No, I didn't mean that. I meant this. I think they will really connect. They just like they are, they will love each other.
Light will shine. It'll be like the Dalai Lama, you know what I mean? Because the two of those guys are so inspirational and so much about love and community and unity. I think we do that. December 22nd, I think we build that show.
We got to think of the guests that would make sense to be together. And I think those two would definitely make sense to be together.
And I think so would Damon.
And so would Damon, and probably Keith Horn might fit into that picture too.
Keith Horn, yeah. Mike Bailey might fit into that.
Mike Bailey's great. I love Mike Bailey. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yep, that would be a
Leroy
good
Butler. Got to have Leroy.
Leroy, that'd be good. That's good.
Got to have my apostle Leroy.
Yeah.
Love Leroy.
Yep, Leroy's the guy.
All right, so let's talk about our sponsors here real quick. I've got to do another share screen. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And I've got to go backwards. I don't know what I'm. What?
Full spectrum.
Hang on just a minute. I got to kill this track before we get in trouble in the background. Because I'm not good at this. I never claimed to be good at this. All right, so let's go back now. All right. Share screen. Here we go. Share screen. And boom. Full spectrum CBD. All right, now you can talk, Robbie. Sorry.
Full spectrum. Well, we should mention backbeat music too. Backbeat.
Oh, I'm gonna mention backbeat music all day long.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that they were up there.
Yep, we love them. We know times are hard in the music world, the industry as a whole, whether you're playing music, selling equipment, backline, lights, sound, crew, tech, all of these people are struggling. All of them are trying to make ends meet. If you are in San Angelo, even if you're not in San Angelo, and go check them out, Backbeat Music Company. Show some love, Alexandra and the team, and they're going to be with us for the long haul. I don't give a shit what it takes, right?
Agreed.
Alan Shannon, Full Spectrum CBD, fantastic. go to the website, thefullspectrumtx.com. I will tell you that I use their products and it's changed my life. It's changed my wife's life.
It's changed my life.
It has, dude. The oils, especially the oils, are so good for ailings, aches, and pains, which I have constantly. My wife and I both suffer from hideous different forms of arthritis.
Suffer from hideous. Just stop with that.
We both suffer from hideous.
Just kidding. Me and my
spouses.
wife, we suffer from hideous. Oops. I mean, forms of pain.
I can actually see her glaring through my computer screen, brother.
Probably looking and going, that son of a.
There she is.
Shut him up.
All right. So next week, we've got Robert Sarzo.
Robert Sarzo. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Rudy's
Yeah.
younger brother, but we don't think of him
Right.
that way. We think of him as Robert. Robert's a cool guy, and I think we get some good stuff out of Robert for sure. He's
Absolutely.
been part of that whole LA scene, Hollywood scene back in the day.
Absolutely. And then December 1st, we got Brian Ray. Don't forget the show moves to Tuesday nights next week, folks.
Oh, yeah, starting
Um,
Tuesday.
We did that just to get away from the Monday Night Football crowd, and
Plus, moving to Twitch will be on Tuesday.
that's why. So, to Kim and all of our crew, Kim Venice, I'm so happy to hear that you're feeling better. Kim obviously was suffering with COVID, and she is now starting to feel better. And Kim and Brad, I love them to death, man. They're part of the crew.
Bottles of wine can come out of quarantine now. If she's getting better, they must be getting better too.
So I put gloves on and a mask, and I opened the box, and I set the bottle out, and I wiped it all down, and it says "for you and yours on Thanksgiving," and it looks like a really good mead in that bottle. So I'm planning on.
Good idea. I hope mine says that too. I'll bring it for Thanksgiving. But that's
Yeah.
a good idea. I haven't opened it yet because it's been in quarantine since I arrived. So
Right. Yeah, I just did mine yesterday. So
here's some Darren and Sherry O'Brien. They actually
Darren,
3 bottles of nice wine and other stuff that's legal in our state. Not that I would do that, but I'm just
what?
puff,
We're
puff,
on the air.
puff, puff, pass. No, puff, puff, puff.
All right, all right, brother. And then we're going to announce later this week who our first guest of up and comer on the cusp.
Oh yeah,
But we
on the
need you to
cusp.
pick the name. We're going to put them the top 10.
Top 10 names and let you guys choose from that. And we're gonna do a show. Hopefully this week we'll bring somebody on. It'll be short. And this will keep us on the Facebook thing with them, because when we go to Twitch, we won't be on here anymore, but we will be here promoting the Twitch, and we'll be here promoting artists up and coming, on the cusp. Expose yourself, whatever it might be. One of those or all those. Yeah.
Hey, Leroy says he wants some wine.
Leroy does?
Leroy wants some wine.
All
Leroy,
right.
I want to move to the Bahamas. I will bring you as much wine as you like. I promise, my friend.
Is he okay with the other two? I imagine he is. He's in the Bahamas.
I'll bring you some smoke. I'll bring you whatever you need, bro. It'll be CBD
Forget
because
that.
that's all that's legal here in Texas.
I'm in California, so
Yeah. Right? All right. Much love to everybody. We'll see you next time. We're going to post those on there. Please vote for the favorite name of what we're going to be doing coming up. I've got a lot of guests that I want to get in on this. I've got my nephew, Casey. You can check him out right now. KCK, the letters KCK on SoundCloud. Kid's ultra talented. Luis Maldonado flipped his skull when he heard him. And check him out. I want to have him on the show. My doctor. I want to have my doctor on the show, bro.
Let's get him on. Let's get Dato on. Let's get
Let's
Emily.
get Dato, Emily.
I got
and then-
Aaron Palacios, another one I produced years ago. He's a blind kid that he's got some really cool music.
Yes, he does.
Very
Yes,
beautiful.
he does.
And I'm sure there's anybody else. If anybody knows anybody who wants to tell them to send their music to that guy over there.
Send it to Drake at the hangout.live. That's my email address. I will go through them. We'll make submissions. Obviously, it's got to be some kind of quality. I'll promote everybody I possibly can, but it has to be promotable.
Yeah.
Is that the right way to say it? Is that PC
Yeah.
enough?
A fall to
So-
break would be great. We had Craig on here, but I'd love to get him on again.
Yeah. Greg's badass.
Yep.
Greg's a badass. Love him.
Well worth doing. And then whatever the other people, if you know somebody who's a local band and they are on the cusp, tell them to send it in and let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's promote you. Let's get you some airtime on Jack FM. Let us get behind you, and maybe we can bring in one of our other friends to give a little advice of, hey, this is what I think. This is what I heard. You know, you've got to be open to receiving that advice. That's the whole point of this, is
Yeah.
hearing it from the people who have done it.
If we can get people coming on and commenting honestly, that'll be interesting. Like Luis would be great for that because he's really got a really good ear and a good knowledge and
a good bedside manner.
Yes, and a good bedside manner, which, you know, maybe we need a Simon Cowell. No.
I'll be the Simon Cowell. I'll be like, dude, your shit sucks. I ain't gonna lie to you. No, I would never be that way. I'm not that guy. All right. Peace
Okay,
out.
we're good.
See you next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Love you all.